Denise here, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming back to my book-Nook and we're going to be doing steps 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22. I've got all my boards out that I need, so let's get started. So for this I want 2 frames and 2 pictures. And my 2 frames are here on this one and this one here. Pop the book there out the way. So I've got my 2 frames and then I want the 2 pictures, and these are the pictures that I need. This does have sticky on it, but we need to glue them. So I need to pop a bead of glue around the frame. Sorry if you can hear any noise in the background. That is my hubby putting Christmas decks away. I think if he's going to be noisy, I'm going to put this with music on it. And I think trying to put a sticky thing on the back of there. So that's the first picture frame done. I'll leave it that way. And then we've got this one. So that's my bead of glue on there, and then we need this picture here. Just get that straight. So, and that is the next picture. So that's step 18 and 19 done, as quick as that. So our next step is to put the windows into our door frame and the top of the door frame. So let me get all those pieces out and we'll get them put together as well. So this is everything I need for my door and window for the side of the door. So this is the PVC, and we get a thing here which says tear off the productive film on both sides, then paste onto A8, A3 and B10. We also get a little note in here: do not cover the holes with PVC. So I'm assuming it's these holes here where things are going in, and these here, I'm assuming that's the door handle. So let's do this one first. Let's get this out of the way. So my booklet is telling me, let me get it the way up, that this goes on the back of here. So let me run my glue round first. So let's tell you what, let's just take it out of here first. So that peels off that side of the sticky, and then we've got some other on that side. So pop that in my bin. Let's see where this goes. So that sits round, but it's saying don't put PVC over the hole. So do I have to cut around there? So yes, I've just had to cut a little bit off and just adapt it, just so it doesn't go over this hole. So as I say, it doesn't say anything about adapting it or cutting it, but if you're not supposed to go over the hole, I don't know how else you'll do it. So I will glue around here, and if you heard any noise on the video, as I say, my husband, although I said to him I'm recording, please don't bang and clatter, was banging and clattering. So I've been out to him and said, I did say I was recording. Oh, I forgot. Men got memories like sieves, haven't they? I don't know. So there we are. I've glued that onto there, and that's the window. That's one done. So let's put that aside to dry. That looks quite good. So now we'll bring in the door. Now the door on this one is this at the top. So let's peel that, peeled off that side, and then I will there we are, got that, pop that in my bin, and then this one, oh, hang on, oh, now then, oh, it's on the, it's that side because I've got my hinge, that's the front, so it is this on the back. So I'm going to run some glue. I've also checked with the handle for the door. I don't think if I put the acetate on here and cover those holes, it's not going to have any detrimental effect for the handle. I think it's just these holes here when you start putting the bookshop together. It's just, we need the push in more than what these do. So I'm going to pop that to dry there. And then we've got this, which is B10. And I just need this long piece here. Let's just pop that to one side so I don't lose it for when I need that acetate. So again, taking that top film off and getting rid of sticking to me. It's static. So again, let's have a look at this. It's that way. So that's going down. See where this finishes. Oh, and that finishes just above that hole, so I don't need to cut anything away. So I'll just run my bead of glue along here. I really have had some wonderful comments about me doing this, and also people that have said they've been thinking about book-Nooks and decided after watching the video to go and have a go themselves. There is some, you can see some glue there, but that will dry clear. So I'm going to let those dry. And whilst those are drying, oh, I've picked up my picture frame. Whilst those are drying, I'll go and get the pieces together that I need for step 21. So this is everything I need for step 21. So the first thing I need to do is put my elements in here. So I'm going to take what is going to be the top of the door, and I'm going to put this in, and that's like a little shelf. So that was why I needed to cut that piece out of the acetate, because I don't think it would have clipped home properly had the acetate been there. It may have done. It is flush, so you may, if you get this, you may just pop it on there, just pop it straight across. But I'm happy in the fact I've cut it out. And then the next thing I need is this piece, which we turn upside down and pop that into there. I think that's the way it goes. Yeah, because that's at the back, and that's needs to go in there. So do it this way. That might be easier to do. And that's it. Just might need a little more clicking home. I think that's gone in there, so that's there. And then we need to put that there, making sure we've got our panel at the bottom, because we don't put it upside down, put it at the bottom. So that goes in. Is it that way? No, it has to be that way, doesn't it? Yeah, it's definitely that way. Let me pop that down, and I'll rock that in. So that's gone flush with that. So that's that. And then we need the Tiffany light, which goes in there. Push that home. That fits in there. And then we need this photo, picture frame, which fits in there. Let's find this easier doing it that way. That's gone in. And then the second picture, let's do that in that way. There we are. So that looks like that. And then we need to put the door on, which goes in there like that, because that's how the door's going to open. But I think until we get something on the floor, that's going to come out. But I also need to put my handle in. So that fitted in quite well. So yeah, that was quite good. Oop, it's not dried completely yet. So if that doesn't stick on, I may put some red liner tape on there to keep it stuck. But I think once the glue is dried, it will. So that goes in there. That's our door, goes in the hole up there. So that's the hinge for that to open. And then the last thing I need to put on, take that door off because it's not going to stay. The last thing I need to put on is here, I think, which is this shelf, and that goes there, which goes into the bay window. So there we are. So that is that bit. So now that is step 21. So That really is coming together. That's looking fabulous. So now, let's pop that over there. We have got step 22 to do, which will put the floor in to stabilise all the bits that I've done. And once we've done that, I'll leave it at that. We have got a note here in red: install step 6 onto D18 first. So step 6 is this, which is the bookcase that we did early on, and I need to put that on the floor first. So let's get the floor out and we'll do that. So this is the floor. So let's see if there's a certain way of, I'm just looking at where all the holes are for everything to make sure I get it the right way around, and I think that is it. So let's pop that out the way. So as it says on our red writing, install step 6 first onto D18, and we're installing it into the middle. So that is why I've said that, because once we've got other things around, we wouldn't be able to put that on. So that, just need to push that down a bit more, and that's in there. So that is in the middle of there. Another thing to give you an idea of which way around you need the flooring, obviously it's flat here, but there's a hinge there, which is where the door will go in. So that'll give you some idea of perspective of how things go. So the next thing I need is my grandfather clock, which goes into there and there. Just needs to be rocked a little bit more to get it flush. So that goes in there. And then I need step 17, which was this one, which now, yeah, that is step 17, yeah, which now I'm hoping once we get it into the floor will stabilise everything. Let's get that back in there. Yeah, I'm hoping that will all stabilise. So I need to put them into this corner here. I've got a hole there. I think this might be a bit that goes in there. Hang on, let's get this stabilised a bit better. Right, so let's get these holes here. I've got one. I want to go in there. Come round to this back one, and I don't know whether it's my fingers today or things are not going plain ball. Oh, so Daisy, where did you come from? There. Goodness me. Come on. Play ball. Oh dear. Right, I've taken the grandfather clock out just to see if this will make it easier for me to put this in. And it does. So there we are. That was, I think I made more of a job of that than need be. Oh, and it's this is so, hopefully, well, as I say, when the roof goes on, that will make that. That could have done with had a couple of more connections, I think, but when the roof goes on, that will stay. So now I will put the grandfather clock in. Oh, that really doesn't like that. Well, that is the worst bit I've come to, I think, in all this. That's it. There we are, that's rocked in there. So that gives me the grandfather clock in, the corner bookshelves in. So now I've got, I think that's it to this stage. Yeah, that's it to this stage. So the next stage, we will put everything else together. Oh no, I need to do this. I haven't forgotten this one. So, and that window's not stuck on the door. So I'm going to clean that acetate off. And what I'm going to do is run some red liner tape around there. There we are. I've run my red liner tape around and I've taken the release paper off. So I'm just going to stick it on there. So I think if I was to do one of these book-Nooks again and there was acrylic windows in it, I would certainly use red liner tape again as opposed to glue. And I just need to clean that window because it's quite a lot of glue on it. So there we are, I'm happy with that. So then I'll pop the door in there, and then that needs to go in there, that in there, and that in there. And that is that pushed in all the way. So I think that's right. There is a gap here. I wonder what goes there to hold things together. I've got a gap there. So there must be something goes in there, in that part. So sure I've done it right. Certainly said that wants to go in that one and that one and that one. So yeah, there's a gap. I think something must go in there, or that's where the wall, when we put the walls on, will go. If I can hold it that way up, how it is looking. And I'm really happy with how that is. That is brilliant. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and we'll come back and do the next stage, which is step 23 and 24. We may get round to putting the lights on, but I'm just going to leave it as that, maybe come back. We'll see how we get on. Step 23 and 24. So that's putting walls on. So that's when we may get some, get it stable. So yeah, so I'm really pleased with how that's looking. So just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've liked this bit of it. Some of it was a little bit stressful, but we got there in the end. So thank you for watching. Thank you very much for your comments. I really do appreciate it. So until the next time, take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.